a review of Hustlers by J-Lo. This film was seen by an audience that comprised 95% females. It was the antidote time machine to Barbie, and it was about women understanding on a very intuitive level that women have terms like slaying and Buffy the Vampire Slayer and things like that. And really, what this taps into is a girl truth that they have power. And in a tribal nature, women are like lionesses, so they call the England team the lionesses. And what that means is, at night time, the lionesses hunt in packs. The men don't really do that shit, but they do that for the men, and they do it for their offspring, which will be female and men. And so the real power that women have is just like, you can compare it to the power of men. It's being put into a box, because on this planet, lions or cougars, like black panthers or baboons, they all do different things. So gorillas, they don't hunt in packs. So when like the beauty industry that focuses historically in a certain way, and how women historically would go in a group to a nightclub to historically create an environment, really is a modern phenomenon. But if you go back to when all cultures on the planet, all of them express like forms of women and men, and they fit a version. The USA and China are good examples. So you've got China and Russia, where they tried to create, and you see like posters of the Soviets, and then you see in America posters of strong women. But America tried and were very successful at creating a diverse culture. But then they lost the truth of why tribally you have natural diversity in your tribe. And so then they tried to mess around with it. And Britain did the same thing. But whenever you have a lie at the heart of your culture, so for example, Hustlers was very popular among women who realized it was addressing something about being an alpha female. Because we come across terms like the alpha male, and we come across terms like sexual predators. So Hustlers was a way for women to take the term sexual predator as it applies to women and learn how to be predators. And so the film Hustlers, what happens is, around the time of the credit crisis, you'd been through the noughties, which kind of is a clue, and there were, Usher makes an appearance in it because J-Lo is a friend of him, so he's got his, one of those hats made out of underpants that were popular among gentlemen. And so they'd go there to the nightclub, and he was like flicking dollar bills at them. He had like a kind of card counter thing that you flick dollar bills. So the girls are dancing, and it's like the theme. One of the themes of the story is that they buy a Louis Vuitton handbag in dollar bills for like $400, and J-Lo is like the leader of this crew of girls. And the thing that is most telling about that whole thing is then COVID happened, so they couldn't do it. And then online there were like webcams. So this alpha female which is very natural, and it leads to a strong tribe. Wherever you would go in the world, the tribes were strong, and women had a group pack ability, and they worked in groups. But, because the truth is that God's biggest trick was sex. Like, you have sex, and you don't know, in the original sense of when animal humans started having sex, they didn't know that 9 months later they have a baby. So if you think of the situation, a tribe, and men wake up sleepy and horny, and women realize kind of, oh, it's available. The guy's on his back. If you see the film Hustlers, it's really an update on natural human tribal behavior, but it's kind of telling you in the modern world how that failed. Because when a woman does get pregnant, the man might just be like, well, I don't get it. Like, why me? Sort of thing. And really, Hustlers is kind of addressing that issue indirectly, knowingly or unknowingly, because I'm sure J-Lo, on a very internal level, I think everybody knows that alpha sexual behavior of a group is a two-way street. And actually, girls are much more, they put a lot more effort into being, they call it putting on their war paint, getting ready to go out and slay. But terms like that are more interesting if you think about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So the tall, dark, handsome stranger is really a kind of corruption of the ninja. So the ninja was this hired individual, and in history, part of his job, when he would infiltrate, would deal with the group of alpha females, and they were called geishas, right? But in the earliest form, they were also trained in like martial arts, and martial is also similar to the word to marital, so marital and martial. So this review of the film Hustlers is dealing with a few topics, just like I want to be like Mark Kermode. I want to tell people with a deep knowledge but be despised, like Mark Kermode with his fucking haircut. Look at this fucking haircut, and this person just talking about films, right? I want to be the Mark Kermode of YouTube. Hustlers. It gets 6.5 inches out of 5 stars. 5 is the maximum stars you can get. It gets a Golden Balls Award for having the balls that she paid for that film out of her own pocket. And the usher wore his pants hat. What a sexy look, man. It's a shame they don't bring that back. I want you to now imagine Mark Kermode wearing a pants hat from the noughties, when gentlemen knew how to flick dollar bills at women, groups of women, predators, apex, slayers. Thank you for listening to the Mark Kermode of YouTube podcast.